Hey, Crypto Growth fam, how's it going? This is your host Shazib signing in. We're back with another video, folks. XDC, the evolution of the XDC network ecosystem. It's going to be an interesting one, guys, so make sure to watch till the end. And folks, for those of you who are new to the channel, we primarily discuss utility coins and potential gems. If you're interested in any of that stuff, then subscribe the channel and hit the notification icon for regular videos. Folks, check this out. This is the latest episode of the XDC Mana podcast, and we've got interesting insights. We're going to be looking at this video in a moment. First, let's see what's happening with the community and what is expected from XDC and this video. Look at this. Key highlights: evolution of the XDC ecosystem and its global community, the role of real-world assets in tokenization, insights into upcoming projects and the future roadmap, how XDC Network is collaborating with major enterprises to drive blockchain adoption. We're going to be checking this out in a moment. This is the latest video, XDC Network's RWA strategy with Matthew and Billy from the XDC Foundation. You have to check this out fully yourselves. This 31 minutes long, but we're going to be looking at least half of it or so to see what's happening. But before that, let's dive into some interesting posts over here. I saw a post from Ramon over here that a deep dive into why XDC might be one of the most undervalued crypto projects with real-world utility. In a nutshell, what is XDC Network? An enterprise-grade hybrid layer 1 blockchain built for global trade finance, and not just global trade finance. Now it is looking into the payment sector and other sectors as well, like tokenization and whatnot. 2000 TPS, 2-second finality, smart contracts, RWA tokenization, KYC compliant masternodes. Why the optimism, folks? XDC is active at global blockchain events, 124K plus growing social following, positioned to benefit from trade disruptions, focused on tokenizing real-world assets. We're going to be looking at this in a moment as well, and you can check this out in the latest video as well as to how tokenization is shaping in the XDC ecosystem. Long-term outlook 2026 to 2030. If adoption continues and macro trends align, think tokenization plus trade compliance. Analysts say XDC could reach 84 cents by 2030, 20x from now. It can go on and cross that dollar level, obviously, and even more if things go well. Obviously, it depends on the developments and it depends on how well the team utilizes the use cases. It has got top use cases: smart contracts for digitizing trade finance, RWA tokenization going for it, which is a multi-trillion dollar sector in and of itself, layer 2 support for regulated dapps, high speed, low fee global payments. Awesome, folks. So check this out. XDC will be worth thousands. Many of my soldiers, according to this, it will be worth thousands. We're looking at it reaching $1, and that is going to be giving us significant gains, folks. So being conservative also helps to be patient. The only thing that XDC was missing was a payment architecture, and now they have it. New partnership: Alert, Zinfin, and Bitso. Bitso and the XDC network have formed a strategic partnership for cross-border payments between the US and Mexico. Remittances: big, constant money flow, XRP, XLM, and now XDC. SWIFT equals XDC, DTCC equals XDC. Look at this, folks, both of which handle not billions, not millions, not trillions, but quadrillions, folks, yearly. This is what we're talking about. I mean, this is huge, folks. XDC at 6 cents should be illegal. It will be worth thousands upon thousands of dollars. SWIFT DTCC remittances alone will give you a 4, 5, 6 digit XDC. Now add tokenization of RWAs. So this is what we're talking about, folks. XDC Network partners with Bitso Business to power cross-border payments from the US to Mexico. The partnership creates a blockchain-based payment system that utilizes the XDC network's ISO 20022 compatible, highly efficient infrastructure along with Bitso business strong fiat on-off ramps throughout LATAM. This is what we're talking about, folks. This is the real world use case. This is the real world utility and practical implications that XDC brings along with itself. Now, folks, let's check this video out over here. This is latest. Has been posted 3 hours ago. So let's check this out. By the way, you have to check the entire thing yourselves. Okay.
Let me jump one last thing too. You have to create the services that the corporates want. It's like if you had a restaurant, I'm not going to cook the food that I like to eat, but my customers don't. So when I say that, it's, we talk to institutions and corporates all day, every day. It's removing the volatility. How do you give them what they need to feel confident to take that step? We're very in tune with that. And I think that's what we do a really good job at.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the XDC Mina podcast, where we talk about blockchain, innovation, projects, technology, and of course, about the XDC network. I am Rebecca Dawson, XDC Network's lead of ecosystem development and your host. So joining me today are two great directors from XDC Foundation, Matthew Weisenthal and Billy Siebel. So guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
All right, it's pleasure having the OGs at the Mina podcast. So let's get started. Please do a quick introduction of yourself and what does your role at XDC Foundation?
So I'm Billy Siebel. I'm the executive director of the XDC Foundation. And, I've basically been primarily here to build the ecosystem. I mean, that's really ultimately all of what we do and at the foundation. But, we've really been focused on the support and development of the ecosystem and anything that we can do from the technology side and to really building out the utility, and especially what we're doing now is a large focus on RWAs.
I am Matt Weisenthal. I am a director also of the foundation. My focus is primarily on integrations and pretty much everything RWA. I lead the plug and play accelerator in Silicon Valley. And really look at what we need to bring on to the ecosystem for our protocols built in XDC to utilize in the corporates, to be able to utilize to actually their business done, right? So what tools, what services, and a lot of those relationships kind of go through me. That's my primary function, my sole focus here.
Thank you for the introduction. So, Billy, you started as a head of ecosystem at Zinfin, right? How was the network and community back then, and how did you transition to be a director?
Yeah, well, I mean, there were not many of us. So I think at the time, if I go back, I really found XDC in early 2018. Sometime in November, I ended up meeting Atul in the States. There was a event going on, and so we ended up getting together there and started to, really communicate around what could we do. In my case, really, what could I do to help develop the network? And so myself and Atul and Ritesh were in frequent conversation around things. I think really from the standpoint of people within the community were coming up with the question. And I would find out whether it was actually real or not. There's all these speculations about, are we working with this person or doing this with that person or this bank or that bank? And so I would check in with the tool, and I would then feed the information back to the community. And so I call it it's my 3-year interview process. Really, I was from 2018 to 2020, we were really just kind of going through that, building the community and really looking at, what is it that we could do to get the word out. And I think at that time, there's probably about 5 of us on Twitter. And so when we would go out and we would tweet something, it would be something like where, we'd be like, okay, well, who else is going to, retweet this? And, and you'd have 5 shares. And so we just kept on trying to come up with more stuff to share and ways to build a community. And now you've got people that, you just don't even know who's tweeting. It's just amazing to see.
Such an early beginning, as you mentioned, you only got 5 likes or share, but look what happened now. Yeah. Right. And to you, Matthew, how did you come into your role as a director, and how did the network grow since 2021?
Sure. So, we joke around back in those days. So I think Billy and I were like 2 of the first 12 members in the community or something. But I had known Billy for really 2-3 years and didn't even know his first name. We just had this shared enjoyment of, following this token. It's kind of like rooting for a sports team or something, right? But when Billy started working for Zinfin, I think it kind of changed just overall perspectives among, some of the more serious members, and like, wait, I think, we can actually help this project move forward. And, and Billy, the captain of the ship, like, he calls me up. He's like, hey, Matt, like, we have a lot of stuff to do. Like, do you want to work? And like, fast forward 12 months later, like, we didn't take a day off. It was, we need to get every exchange. We need to get every partnership. We need, Sal, the other, our director of comms, like he had to get our messaging clear, and we had to actually, like, what are we trying to say here? So it was like a firestorm. I thought I was going to work at Allstate forever, and Billy just made it kind of real. And the difference is, instead of the 3 people just going hard, there's a different, in every region, there is a, XDC Japan, XDC Australia. There's so many people every single day all over the world building. And the fact that we were able to, like, jumpstart that and really kind of get it moving is something, it's really great to see.
Right. It started single or 2 members that then expanded regionally and locally. So yeah, Billy, as Matthew said, you were the captain and you assembled the team, right? So there are other directors for sure. So who are they? What are their roles in advancing the network's mission?
Well, there's the 5 of us, myself, Matt, Sal, Nick, and Shane. Sal's, as Matt had mentioned, is focused on comms, and we have a comms team that's working every day to put together all of the news, the happenings. We have the weeklies, we've got the Twitter handle, we've got everything we're doing in terms of, like, getting the stories published. And Nick has really handled a lot of the back end for the financial side of the network, or the foundation, I should say. And Shane really came on as for helping us with contracts and compliance. And so the thing, though, to note around that is that we're a collective process. So from the beginning, really, we sit down, and when it comes to a contract or something that we need to do in negotiation, we're really looking through and discussing, why do we want to do this? What's the benefit to the network? And we're very collaborative around that. And so we decide together on how to move forward. And then beyond that, there's another 7 or so different team members who are out there working on the comms team, or development, security, or, other, integration type of focuses that we have. And a lot of that is really, we have the protocol team, which is dispersed, but they're usually in the east somewhere. So they're in India, or they're in Australia, they're in China, or somewhere in the world. And we were talking about this at one point. We would be in 2019, something would be going on with the network, or to early 2020, and we'd say, oh, we would be up, and so everybody else would be asleep, and we have to, like, reach out to somebody. We're like, we gotta find a nil. Where's the nil? And it was like, we were thinking, I don't think he ever slept. It was just like, they were Nil and his team, Omkar, all these guys, they were out there just working and supporting the protocol side, and we were really working collaboratively. So there's a lot of people. When you say OGs, yeah, okay, so we've been here a long time. There's a lot of people that have been here a long time too. And, we couldn't be doing it ourselves without them. They're the ones that built the backbone of the network.
All right. Matt, anything you need to add? Let's not miss.
We don't want to miss anybody because we really have, our focus is the comms and the messaging, but then we have our developers and project managers like Rohit and Quincy and Solomon. Everybody knows Quincy Jones. Kathy is
Nick
is a director. Nick is like crucial. Sebastian, like everybody has, if they're here, it's because they have been here for a long time and they know how to really do their job. Like there's true ownership here. But yeah, like it really is the developers, watching everybody kind of work together versus those old days where if like, you kind of had to wait on, if you didn't have the one guy, like you kind of waited until he was there. And I thank you, Emil, because you've done everything. But now, if there's an issue, we have not just our teams, but other teams in the network too. So it's security and it's progress. It's keeping value safe. It's keeping our community members safe.
Right. Collectively, these individual teams or these individuals will contribute to the betterment of the XDC network. So yes, looking back, guys, being the OGs, being part of the network on its early years, what do you think are the milestones that we achieved so far? Big ones, be it if it's technical or non-technical.
I think xdc.org and, Sal and the comms team and what they've really created there, was able to really put into words what the ethos of this community is. Like success depends on your network, right? It's not, the tech matters, but XDC is about the community. It's about everyone that's involved in this. So xdc.org really has become like this. It's a living example of what we are. I hear all the time. It's crazy. I get on calls and people are just like, your website is so different than everything else, right? Like, and that's really what Sal has done that just, in my opinion, he gets MVP, is the message is everything. But I would also say the launch of USTY for me was really important to actually have regulated US treasuries on chain. That was important. For a long time there was a lot of, what we're going to do and what's coming. And now, when you actually see delivery of these things and the time that kind of goes into getting a regulated product launched, like it's not just, a lot of people might not know, but there's a process and trade tech team and how hard they work. So yeah, those two are my two big ones.
One thing about it is, I've said for a long time, it's like, we've been like paving the road while we're driving on it. That's something that, is really, when it came to tokenization, if you look at what's going on today, there's a lot of people out there a lot of projects, even other layer ones who are saying, oh yeah, we're doing tokenization. You go to a show now, everyone's like, we tokenize. And, we're one of those projects that you can look back on those protocols and you can say, we've been doing this for 4 years. And so you take.
Folks, this also differentiates XDC from a lot of different projects out there, that they have been in this industry, in this sector for almost so many years, folks. They talk about all of this stuff, be it tokenization, of utility, of use case, before it was cool to say all of these terms.
Tokeny, for example, who's coming into the accelerator, they've been doing it for 7 years. There are people who have been out there doing a lot of work. And I think that, the milestone in itself is just the journey. We've been able to come as far as we have, and now we're at a point where you've got plug and play here, but you can look at little things as they've happened. Bringing on Securitize allowed us to get USTY onto the network, and, all of these things really worked hand in hand. One thing didn't work without the other, and getting the right custodian was important, who was regulated and where, and there's fits and starts. So there's a lot of things that have happened over time. And I think that now what you're seeing is, kind of like the coming together of all of these things, and the plug and play accelerator is one of those aspects of coming together. I mean, there's other accelerators that are doing, similarly important things on the network, but different. And, together, again, those will be milestones that will bring us towards, what comes next. And all of that's really equally important.
Right. It's a collective effort. And Matthew, I love the part where you say the success of network is more than the tech behind it. I totally agree with you. For me, it's also, partnering with institutions, forging meaningful partnerships, and of course, nurturing the ecosystem and the community members.
Yeah, and I should say,
Exactly, it is much more than tech, the partnerships and everything. A lot of techs out there that claims to have so much TPS, folks. They do not have those partnerships going forward. They do not have that networking and aren't as much deeply involved in the financial infrastructure. So, folks, what do you guys think about the evolution of the XDC ecosystem? Are you a believer, and what do you guys think about the payments, the tokenization, and everything that XDC has been up to? I would really like your opinions to hit the comment box below and let the community know. Anyways, guys, this was it for the video. If you liked it, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification icon if you're interested in utility coins and potential gems. And you can also support the channel by checking out Decent and its discounts, as well as Patreon, by following the links in the description box below. Until next time, stay blessed and stay tuned. Thank you very much, everyone.